And we are live. And we are live. And we are live. Hey, good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman in Crypto, episode 1270. Today is Thursday, December 19, 2024, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto. Every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m.-ish. In today's top stories, BlackRock sparks Bitcoin 21 million debate saying no guarantee won't change. Craig Wright faces demand for 2-year prison sentence and contempt of court case. El Salvador makes Bitcoin payments voluntary in $1.4 billion IMF loan deal. 10% of Ethereum validators signal gas limit increase. German watchdog, I don't know if that's the right word to go with Germany, but they order Worldcoin to delete data collected illegally. And Fartcoin briefly taps $1 billion market cap despite altcoin bloodbath. Are we at the top? We might be. First and foremost, let's go ahead and take a quick look. Quickly, let's take a look at these prices. Okay, coming in hot. Well, I guess not that hot. A lot of you are disappointed. Bitcoin's dead. The project is over. We are officially at a loss. I can't believe it. But it's happening. I know. Are you all upset? Bitcoin's coming in at $100,852, down 2.74%. Can you believe that? 6,000, 7,000 bucks is 2.74%. Ethereum says, oh, if Bitcoin can't do it, then neither can we. $5 away at 4K, trying to tout their horn as the next best thing, can beat Bitcoin more, faster, better, blah, 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 blah. $3,615, down 5.58%. Ripple, number 4, $2.32, down 5.77%. Number 6, Solana, $205, down 4.58%. Number 9, Cardano, 94 cents, down 6.94%. And Tron, number 10, at 26 cents, down 3.35%. Fear and Greed Index went from an 80 to a 69. Ooh, Bitcoin dominance went up. Like I said, when that price starts to dip, then the Bitcoin beast starts to eclipse 57.13. I just had to try to make something up. That was terrible, I know. And Ethereum dominance is at 12.54%. And again, this just goes to show when you're looking at the entire market, and you have all these people saying, well, Bitcoin's slow and it's like a grandparent and that project's over with. And our next thing is way better and it's faster and the value's there and it's stronger. Just remember, every cryptocurrency is still tethered to Bitcoin as it hangs on to its 50% market cap. Now, again, all it's going to take is for one killer coin to really drop that market cap because Ethereum isn't going anywhere. So you get the next killer coin, it could literally take about 10 to 15% of the market cap, or excuse me, of the dominance, I would say. And you can see Bitcoin easily drop down to 45 to 50% if we were to see a project actually notable and worthy of it outside of Ethereum. And even to me, it's still not that worthy, but we'll be talking more about that in momento. But first and foremost, let me give some shout outs to the chat because I know y'all in there. What up, though? Warriors, Jump Out Girls, PMS Team, Chloe, Dior, D, Tizzy, Bird Time, Music Group, Saber Sage, Credit K. Listen, I was doing Hollywood-ish and I wasn't going to make it. I actually just wrapped on set at like 4:30. They fed me some breakfast and sent me home, but I was lit. It was a dope night. I was working with one of the biggest studios in the world, and I can't tell you what, but they're going to release some stuff next year, spring, summertime. So around that time, I could probably say what I was doing, but it was super cool. They took care of me. So I just had some energy this morning. I'm in a good morning. I had some energy and I'm in a getting money making mood. So I am pushing forward. All right. Bitcoin Shango, JD Vincent, Satoshi Slim. How many hours do I get in an average 24 cycles? Usually 4 hours max. Anywhere from 3 to 5 is an average number for me. But like 2 or 3 days ago, I did get 8, and basically every 72 hours, 2 to 3 days, I get like an 8-hour real sleep, and then that charges me up for like the next 2 or 3 days. So yeah, that's why I keep saying it's really hard to sneak up on me. You got to really be about this life and want it because it's not going to be an easy one. All right, let's get this show rolling. Again, top story of the day. BlackRock is in the news. I can't believe what I'm reading. It is literally 2016 all over again. Someone say SegWit, BlackRock sparks Bitcoin 21 million debate saying no guarantee it won't change. And this is what I've been saying about since the beginning about letting these folks in who came late to the party, who grifted over with a bunch of money, who got the government involved and regulators involved because they were too scared to learn on their own and didn't want to lose said money. So they got all these extra people involved. And now they're literally trying to change the music, the decorations, and everything else as the party is going. We in here doing a little two-step. We bopping. Oh, I just saw me a little pretty. Someone walked up on her. Hey, she enjoyed it. Everything cool. And then somebody turns on the lights, switch the record. And now we listen to some bullshit. That's what's about to happen. That's what they're trying to make happen. And even this article, like the headline, for this to be a real thing, I can't believe it. I thought we'd already settled this. One Bitcoin developer argues that any change to Bitcoin's fixed supply, while theoretically possible, wouldn't be considered Bitcoin anymore. I agree. Let's make this clear. Yes, for those who don't know, you can change the Bitcoin code, right? Right now, I could change the Bitcoin code right now. I could just go in and do it. And if the world said, hey, we agree with King, we like his new code, then that would be the new Bitcoin. It'll essentially fork off, right? That's called the consensus mechanism of it. However, if I change that code and everybody was like, we don't know what the hell King is talking about, we're not going to get away from what we're doing, e.g., Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Diamond, Platinum, ABC, whatever all those other Bitcoins were that tried to do this in the past. Like I said, I thought this was over with. Essentially, this says that people won't move over to the new one. We're going to stay with the traditional one. So again, theoretically, yes, BlackRock or anybody else can change the Bitcoin code. It's up to everyone to follow it to say this is the real Bitcoin. That would not happen. That's why they said technically it would not be Bitcoin, nor would it be Bitcoin in its truest sense or form, as the white paper explained, because the white paper clearly laid out there will be 21 million. So again, this is the institutions, the big players up to their old dirty tricks. And as I mentioned this, I don't know how many times on the show. Not only did we see this done before by different, like I said, Bitcoin ABC, Craig Wrights of the world, Jahan Wu's, but we also saw it happen on the corporate level when SEG would happen. They tried to hijack Bitcoin. So again, we have literally seen this happen before. The code trying to get changed or switched or swapped. We haven't seen it with a player this powerful yet before. So that's something different. Let's see. The debate over whether Bitcoin's 21 million supply cap is truly fixed has resurfaced after BlackRock posted a 3-minute Bitcoin explainer video, which added a disclaimer saying there's no guarantee it won't be changed. Again, I said this at least 3 or 4 years ago. Don't be surprised when these big boys and girls come in here and start changing the narrative. How many times have I said that? Which is why I said the narrative is so important. Shows like this are so important. YouTubes and podcasts, it doesn't matter if they have 500 on this one, a million on that one, and 3,000 on the next one. It's a concerted effort to make sure the narrative will not be hijacked by the power players like BlackRock. And again, this is one of those things where they're just testing the water, right? They're like, oh, we didn't say it was going to get changed. We're just throwing it out there to see how you feel about it. Like, they just want to see how you feel about it, right? That's all they're doing right now. But they already know what they actually want to do, and that's they want to effing change it, okay? Bitcoin's fixed supply is one of the strongest propositions as a store of value, and uncapping it would impact how investors view the cryptocurrency. In December 17th video, BlackRock explained that Bitcoin has a fixed supply of 21 million, adding that the hard-coded rule controls supply purchasing power and helps avoid the potential misuse of printing money and more currency. Still, it added a disclaimer that read, there is no guarantee that Bitcoin's 21 million supply cap will not be changed. Of course, this video is reposted by MicroStrategy chairman Michael Saylor because he is really on their side, even though he got his bag as well. And here he is, Michael Saylor, reposting this. I actually tried to fast forward. This was the one story I skimmed through because I wanted to see the video and fast forward to the part it said it. I couldn't find it, so I just kind of left it alone. But again, you have BlackRock teaching Bitcoin, came in fourth quarter. I mean, technically they put up buckets, but that's because their dead brothers and cousins are all the coaches and players on the opposing team. Everybody was essentially letting them score. You know what I mean? It wasn't like nobody was playing defense. So my thing is this: Michael Saylor's on this same side. I'm not about to redo his videos 3 minutes, but I will say this: devil's advocate. BlackRock could just be protecting themselves and their assets by saying this because technically it is a true statement, right? Bitcoin's 21 million supply cap. Yes, it can be changed. Now, will the consensus go with it? Will me, you, and everyone else say, all right, well, we agree that's the new Bitcoin and we're going to deal with it? No, I wouldn't. I would stay with the old one. Like, I don't know what that is. This is Bitcoin. Kind of like you see with Ethereum Classic. To a lot of people, they're saying this new Ethereum, whatever that is, it ain't Ethereum. Like the Ethereum Classic is Ethereum and the new Ethereum isn't. For some people who have just started watching or tuned into Ethereum in the last few years, you're like, what do you mean Ethereum isn't a real Ethereum? Well, Ethereum got hacked a long time ago, essentially. Their DAO lost a ton of money or something like that. And instead of just saying, hey, we got hacked, it's over with, they changed the code. They forked it and said, nope, that didn't happen. We didn't get hacked. Don't worry. Let's move forward. That is why the Ethereum Classic is the real Ethereum, and this new Ethereum is what they forked it to for corporate interests, so they wouldn't have to live up and face the hack. So again, I think the same thing would happen here. It's not a big deal. Devil's advocate, they could just be covering themselves because they did mention a true statement, but I'm a lot smarter than devil's advocate. This is them putting it out there. This is the first time we're seeing it. Don't be surprised by give it 6 to 8 weeks, 9 weeks. February, March, February-ish. Yeah, about February-ish. Don't be surprised around February we see this happen again. Where I don't know, is it 21 million thing? April, May, 21 million, 21 million, 21 million. June, July, August. What about 21 billion? Like, do not be surprised. They want this to happen. It's an easier way to hijack the entire network. Let's see. This happened already, called a hard fork. They are trying some propaganda-ish. Exactly. Black Bitcoin key. It said Vitalik still alive. I mean, is Russia still holding them? I don't know. BlackRock is spinning go the way of Bitcoin Cash and Satoshi's vision to zero against Bitcoin. Oh, wait, and Satoshi's vision. Oh man, here we go. You cannot convince me they are not funding any and everything that can crack the code, not just fork it up. Oh, you already know. Listen, they want what's in that code, and that's that moolah, that money. But again, this is the dumb stuff about it where I don't think they realize where, let's say they do switch it to 21 billion and stuff. And they might want this from the government's perspective. They might just want to kill and end the project as they always have. But essentially, you would be killing the project if you were to move one of those zeros or commas or change that last number. You would essentially be killing the project, which again, they might want to do, which would make so much sense for a BlackRock, right? You're already doing ETFs and ETF options. You have all that money. It's being settled in cash. You've already made hand over fist. So what's the best way to do a rug pull exit plan without telling anybody? What if you just crash the entire market? You crash the Bitcoin market. You tell your clients, oops, sorry, all those ETFs mean nothing anymore. But you remember, you still get paid your fees whether they win or lose. You walk away a hero. You walk away with capital. So again, this isn't a terrible thing for BlackRock or the BlackRocks of the world, MicroStrategy included. But for the end user, this would be bad. For the client, this would be bad. And of course, for the community, this would be bad. But we shall see. This is just them trying it. It's been tried before, and it didn't happen before. So we'll see. I was going to cover the story before I logged on. I saw you all quickly shoot this out in the Discord. I did see the story, but I don't know. I was going to cover it because it's been like this back and forth. But Craig Wright faces demand for 2-year prison sentence and contempt of court case. I actually tried to get him on. He was supposed to come on like a year or so ago. I actually dropped the ball on that. So my bad, Craig. If you're listening, that was my fault. It was a lot going on. But COPA claims Wright's attempt to sue for intellectual property rights related to Bitcoin violate a July court order. I would love to have Craig come on and talk about this, especially if he might be headed to his way to the clinker. Let's get him before we get to the clinker. But it looks like the Crypto Open Patent Alliance has taken Craig Wright to court again, this time to face contempt of court allegations. COPA is seeking a prison sentence for as long as 2 years for Wright. And again, COPA, this is the reason why we have regulators, right? At the end of the day, Craig Wright isn't really hurting the community. Like, yeah, he's saying Satoshi Nakamoto, blah, blah, blah. It's up to you to believe it or not, and to do your research on that. Most people do not believe it. So, in my opinion, to say, hey, not only is he doing wrong, but he needs to be sent to prison over this. I didn't cover the other story today about the guy who stole from Bitfinex. And the reason why I didn't cover it is because he got a 5-year prison sentence for stealing like 120,000 Bitcoin. And they basically like, yeah, we recovered most of it. We recovered like 115,000. So it's still 5 missing, right? The guy got a 5-year prison sentence for stealing 120,000 Bitcoin. I want to repeat that. He came out today or yesterday, I guess, was his first statement since he's been arrested. It's like, my dad didn't know nothing about it. He didn't have anything to do with it. He doesn't even know how to use Instagram. My wife didn't have anything to do with it. This is all me. And I plan to get into the cybersecurity community when I get out to teach people how to protect their Bitcoin. Like, this is amazing. You're allowed to do so much crime in this space. Certain people, for sure, at least certain people are allowed to do so much crime in this space. And I am talking slaps on the wrist. Again, had I known it would be slaps on the wrist like this, oh, this everything would be different by now. Everything would be different. But I was looking at the previous cases at the time. I was looking at the Charlie Shrams of the world, who did go to prison at 23, 24. I was looking at who else? It was another big player they got. It was some bigger players they got in the past. But this is absolutely crazy. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to cover this when it came to Craig Wright, because it's been this back and forth, and all it is doing is inviting more regulation to the space. But Craig Wright, who falsely claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous creator of Bitcoin, is in court again. This time, the Crypto Open Patent Alliances is arguing Wright's attempt to sue for 900 million pounds, 1.1 billion over intellectual property rights related to the Bitcoin system in October amounts to contempt of court after a judge ruled in July that he was barred from pursuing proceedings related to his claim to be Nakamoto. And my thing is this. again, I get why they're going after him, the Copa, because they're like, well, he's trying to sue for intellect. My thing is like, who is he trying to sue, and how is this working? Like, who will we sue for these rights? Uh, okay, thinking out loud, I do get it. If he is bringing litigation, then yeah, you do have to fight back that way. So I can see why they at least want to throw him in prison for a couple years. So that does make a little bit more sense. But again, I'm not understanding who is he hiring as a lawyer? How are they going after people? Like so on and so forth. And even if he does hire a lawyer and come after you and sue you, would you even need to hire a lawyer and defend it? Or would you just let it play out in court? Because at this point, the government's even know he's not Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Like no one knows. I think he will go to court and NSA would show up like, we know you're not Satoshi because we are. My bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But regardless, they're trying to get Craig Wright again. The 2-day trial is due to end later Thursday. And Copa, whose backers include Twitter founder Jack Dorsey and crypto exchange Coinbase, you don't say, is seeking a prison sentence. I know Coinbase seeking a prison sentence. Copa proposes an order committing Dr. Wright for an initial term of 18 months and a further term of 6 months in the event that he does not mitigate his contempt by promptly discontinuing the claims which breached the order Copa set out in his skeleton argument court documents show. And I can already tell you now, Craig Wright said, hell no, we won't go. And I'm not mad at him. I am not mad at him. And here's why. Because this space is full of fugazi and nonsense and madness and craziness and mania. Why not go for the gold and say, I'm Satoshi Nakamoto? Why not go for it all? Okay. And that's what he's doing. Worst case scenario is just get some more marketing and publicity as he's back in the news again. Let's see. Bookmark coin market cap on the left. Oh, okay. This is somebody else you're responding to. I knew the ETFs was a way for them to manipulate the crypto market. Oh, you already know. What if you have them order? Oh, y'all. Okay. I'm in the wrong. Y'all. I'm over here laughing at some of these comments. He was on Tucker Carlson talking about Bitcoin isn't the real Bitcoin. Yep, a lot of people have said that. Yep, last supply year will be the year 2140. We will all be dead and gone, and possibly our kids will be dead and gone too. Will our kids be dead and gone by 2140? I think so. And I think it's only like 3 million left, probably a little bit less than 3 million. So yeah, we still have some time, but by and large, a lot of Bitcoin has been mined already. The majority has. All right. El Salvador is in the news. We were talking about this in the Discord yesterday and this morning as well. I can't remember who pointed out, but great takes here. El Salvador makes Bitcoin payments. Jump Out Girls was brought up too. Shout out to Jump Out Girls. El Salvador makes Bitcoin payments voluntary in $1.4 billion IMF loan deal. And the way I read it yesterday when y'all were talking about it, and the way I read it today, is it looks like the IMF. I don't want to say nothing crazy. I was going to say something crazy, but they've essentially put their foot down. All right, they threw it on. They threw it on the back of El Salvador and say, "You feel it?" El Salvador struck a long deal with the IMF in which it will make Bitcoin acceptance voluntary and roll back government involvement in Bitcoin-related projects. I want to see. They say it's a $1.4 billion loan deal. I wonder what the rates are on that. IMF said, how about 0%? Pay it back when you can. Just stop using Bitcoin. They made them that offer they couldn't refuse. I wonder if it was just the money. No, in fact, I'm not even going to say I wonder. It was not just the money. If it was just about the money, it would have already been done on El Salvador's side. I don't think it's the money. There's other deals and things going on in the background they didn't announce. I can pretty much guarantee it. Looks like here, though, El Salvador is set to make merchant acceptance of Bitcoin voluntary, unwind its involvement in its little used. Oh, this article even going too is little used Chivo wallet and make public sector engagement of Bitcoin related economic activity confined as part of a $1.4 billion loan deal with the International Monetary Fund. $1.4 billion to sell out an entire country. Come on, Bukele. They love you. He's doing great. However, I won't down him too fast because he has many tricks up his sleeve. It wouldn't surprise me if he took that money and said, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm a leader of a country. I can do that sometimes. I would love to see that, but I also know that would probably lead to some kind of fake quasi war with El Salvador because IMF ain't getting their way. The Central American nation will get $1.4 billion from the IMF over the next 40 months after agreeing to measures aimed at dropping its debt to GDP ratio. The global lender said in December 18th statement, the potential risk of the Bitcoin project will be diminished significantly in line with fund policies. What risks of the Bitcoin project? What are the risks? Legal reforms will make acceptance of Bitcoin by the private sector voluntary, the IMF said. Oh, you got the IMF talking. You only got El Salvador talking. You got the IMF talking. Oh, wait. I love me some gangster stuff early in the morning. I love seeing some gangsters be gangsters in the morning. And IMF is probably some of the biggest ones out there. I mean, in no order of importance, the American government, the IMF, the Federal Reserve. I mean, just whoo, goodness gracious. Hey, El Salvador and Bukele's like, I want to say I'm at pushing on chest. Hey, I got this, brother. Let me go ahead and explain what's happening to these folks. You've done enough talking these last few years. Let me handle this one. For the public sector, engagement in Bitcoin-related economic activities and transactions and the purchases of Bitcoin will be confined. The IMF couldn't wait to say that. They also said taxes will be paid in US dollars. Oh, okay. So, hey, shout out to the real game. American government behind this one. American government, hey, get on the phone with, hey, this is what we're going to do. All right. Get on the phone with the IMF. I need the IMF to go down there and tell Bukele, unless he wants to witness true freedom, true diplomacy, and American freedom, we're going to need you to turn that faucet off, brother, and turn the other faucet back on. Hey, they say, you ever seen an aircraft carrier off the coast? You better turn that faucet back on, my boy. El Salvador, of course, began buying Bitcoin in 2020. Okay, they don't get the background of it, but here's the bottom line. Bitcoin at its all-time high, doing great. And they say they have, what, $602 million worth? Okay, so that 1.4, like I said, you think it's just coinky-dink? They didn't doubled it plus a little taste. They doubled it plus Bukele, you want your own little taste? They doubled what they made in the last few years. So that was the cost of doing business, I guess. But my point is, it definitely was more than money. There was other deals happening in the background because the way Bitcoin's pumping, the way the market's going, there's no reason for El Salvador to stop. Now, again, for their part, great power play as a business and as a country. You've essentially made the IMF move, right? You made the IMF kind of give in to some of your demands, and they even seen how powerful Bitcoin is and what it can do for a country. So there were good things that came from this, like whether they keep it or not. It's like it did work. We do know next year we got more squeeze, but we also expect a big dip to come. So El Salvador could be saving itself as well, just in case that impending dip does come. A national Bitcoin office spokesperson told Cointelegraph that the country will keep accumulating Bitcoin. I don't believe it. Why the president ain't saying no? He be talking about everything else. Why he ain't talking about this one? We will keep buying 1 Bitcoin a day, likely even more in the future, and we will not sell any of our current holdings, said the spokesperson, who added the plans for the Bitcoin office remain the same as Bitcoin continues to be our main strategy. And again, I will play devil's advocate and give President Bukele, I will play devil's advocate and give him the benefit of the doubt and say he could listen, because I know what I'm doing in life. I'll just say this, and many people don't. So it's like, I am very sure he's made it to be the president of his country as well. He know who he's doing. And a lot of us don't. So he just like, I got to play nice now. I don't want them to assassinate me, brother. I got to play nice. But he's also saying, I'm going to keep accumulating that Bitcoin, though. I can't beat them yet, but one day we'll be strong enough. So again, I think they're going to keep trying to do what they do. Best of luck to Bukele, President Bukele in El Salvador. But hey, you might have let the devil in the door, man. You might have let the fox in the hen house, man. I get it. You might not have a choice. But I would almost have made it like, nah, I'm gonna make y'all tune. We'll see how this shapes up. We'll definitely see how this shapes up. But again, if you have the IMF giving quotes to articles now, and you don't even have President Bukele, who's outspoken, coming out and saying anything about this matter, it was more than money, and he probably didn't want it to happen. And I wouldn't even be surprised if they probably pressed I don't know if they have Congress, Parliament, or whatever, but I wouldn't be surprised if they pressed their version of Congress, the one by ones. Like, all right, we'll get you a house. We'll get your wife this. Or somebody's sick in your family. How about you move to this country? We get your citizenship here. And one after another, they was like, all right, President Bukele, come on, man. We can't keep fighting off the IMF like this. They got $1.4 billion, baby. So more than likely, that's what happened. All right, 10% of Ethereum validators signal, what do they signal? Gas limit increase. That's right. Ethereum core developer Eric Connor said increasing gas limits could result in a 15 to 33% reduction in transaction fees. The biggest word is could. You know how many times they said could, the fees should, after this, they might, after this, maybe. Listen, it ain't happening. It's expensive to use Ethereum. It's been expensive to use Ethereum for like 6 years or so. Like, It ain't happening. The percentage of Ethereum validators signaling support, raising the network's gas limit rose up to 10% as the community rallied to increase the maximum amount of gas allowed to be spent for transactions to be included in a single Ethereum block. On December 19th, the number of validators signaling a gas limit greater than 30 million increased to 10% of the network. Before December, the percentage of validators signaling an increase in gas limit was a little over 1%. The increase follows efforts by Ethereum community members to advocate for raising the gas limit to 36 million. Increasing the gas limits could result in lower transaction fees, they say. On March 20th, core Ethereum developer Eric Connor and former head of smart contracts at MakerDAO, Mariano Conti, launched a website called Pump the Gas to convince the community to raise the Ethereum gas limit to 40 million. Their website, designed to rally support for a gas limit increase to 40 million, argues that such an adjustment could lower, I can't say that word, adjustment could lower layer one transaction fees by 15 to 33%. Connor called on solo stakers, client teams, pool, and community members to help with the initiative. You know, and this is this is pretty cool to see, but once again, like I'm not about to go through the rest of the articles. They're saying the same thing. You can take a peek at this at you can take a peek at this on Cointelegraph, of course. But it's a few things I just jump out to me rarely at this story. First of all, they're still having the same scaling issues and scaling debate. This is a SegWit debate, which what happened with Bitcoin, essentially. The whole debate about SegWit, which again we had solved, and you see BlackRock trying to bring back up, essentially, was a scaling debate saying, hey, should we make each block size, all the blocks that keep Bitcoin transactions, once they get filled up, a new block forms. That's why it's called the blockchain. They're saying, hey, should we keep all the blocks transactions since too much is happening? We need to scale. We need to make it bigger or more efficient because so many people use the network. The argument was, should we make the block bigger? So I can't remember the weight is on the block, but let's just say it can hold 20 transactions. Should we make it bigger so it can hold 40 transactions? Or should we make it more efficient so that the transactions that come through won't take as much space and they'll be, appropriately whatever. So that was the whole debate, the scaling and SegWit debate a few years ago. And we essentially decided to make it more efficient. That's when Roger Ver, Juhan Wu, and everybody split off, made Bitcoin Cash, and said, well, we'll make the block size bigger since you all just want to make it more efficient. The argument was, in the future, you'll have to increase the block size as more people join anyway. You won't just be able to keep making it more efficient, and people still go back and forth about that. That is what this is right here. This is a scaling debate. This is a scaling argument. And I feel like after all this time Ethereum has been working, they're still trying to figure out something that I think should have been figured out or tried years ago already. So they're trying to do it now. That is cool. I mean, that's a good thing that they're moving in the right direction. But you can see here, Awosika said that, who is Awosika? Emmanuel Owosika, creator director of 2077 Collective, highlighted the benefits for developers, noting that the current gas limit can hinder the deployment of high demand applications. He says specific applications cannot be deployed with its current gas limits because gas prices will spike once the applications go viral, leading to a very degraded user experience. To me, if that's the case, go to another platform. Go to another project. We've tried. We've been at Ethereum. I don't know. What do some of you ETH heads think about this? I think this is crazy. And it's crazy. This article pointed this out. This is going to be my next statement too. The thing about scaling and the reason why the Bitcoin one was so contentious, whether we make it bigger or more efficient, or whatever you do, is because this is basically like, these are like, think of it as like a video game, a video game is a good example. A video game or a computer program that's already been finished and worked on for years. And then you go back and say, well, I just want to change the color on one screen. It's like, all right, changing the color on one screen with that one line of code, while it shouldn't do anything, we haven't tested it against the other thousands of lines of code. And we don't know with changing the color program or entire platform or website or video game. This is the same thing. They're making it sound simple and they're making it sound easy. But what if something goes wrong? What if you raise the gas limit and something like you're literally putting your entire project at risk because you still haven't figured out scaling? So it looks like there are community members who exercise caution when increasing gas limits. Ethereum's foundation's Tony Warstatter said that this could pose serious risks to stability and security. The Pump the Gas site also acknowledged these risks and said that the core goal of Ethereum is to remain decentralized. Ha, ha, ha. If the gas limit is raised too high, I mean, listen, Ethereum, isn't it like, somebody correct me, but I want to say at least like 40%, 30 to 40% of the nodes are like in the hands of freaking what, 1,000 folks or something like that. Like it's a small number of people who own the majority of nodes right now. So I would have to kind of decentralize. I don't know. If the gas limit is raised too high, we could create a scenario where the chain becomes too large for solo node operators to validate and download. Technology improves, however, and it does make sense to slowly increase it as time goes on. We could create a scenario where the chain becomes too large for solo node operators. After, like, I didn't even read this yet, and I just like I didn't. My point is, the last sentence I just said before that was about how most of the nodes are in a few players' hands, and you want to make this even harder for new players? Yeah, decentralize my ass. It said that raising gas limits too fast could lead to unexpected externalities beyond storage and bandwidth. Yes, you don't know what can go wrong, as I already highlighted. So I don't know. Ethereum's cool, great project, a lot of money involved and a lot of people involved. But if they can't figure out this scaling issue, if they can't figure out this gas issue, it doesn't matter. And you know what? I would almost rather see 10 Ethereums, i.e., the competitors, the Suis of the world, the Solanas of the world, even like layer twos, Polygons of the world. I would rather see a ton of competitors that work in unison or work individually where it splits the market. So where you have maybe 10% on Ethereum, 10% on Solana, 10% on this one, 10% on that one, 10% on that one. That way, this isn't a big deal for scaling and it isn't a big deal when it comes to gas. That may be what they have to do, is to say, it's create like a good layer two and say, this is what we're doing now. Oh, audio probably is cutting off because I keep smacking this, which cause the audio still messed up. I'm over here smacking this cord. I gotta stop doing that. Boom. All right. Let me know if the audio is still cutting out. I get too hype. I'm smacking this cord. What else we got in news? German watchdog orders Worldcoin to delete data collected illegally. German regulators demand compliance changes from World ID after a biometric data investigation. They said, hold up, wait a minute. German Data Protection Authority, the Bavarian State Office for Data Protection Supervision, BLDA, has issued corrective measures for the digital identity project World, formerly known as Worldcoin, over its handling of biometric data. The Bay LDA announced on December 19 that it has concluded its investigation to World's compliance with the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, and the authority has ordered World to implement a data deletion procedure that adheres to GDPR standards within 1 month of the ruling's effective date. I wonder, once they delete it, or if they delete it, or when they delete it, will they create a backup first? Because if so, then deleting it don't matter. Hold on, let me check these comments and make sure I'm still not cutting out, because I never checked again. Okay, I'm good. Perfect. Back to Worldcoin. Response: the World Foundation has appealed the decision by asking regulators to provide judicial clarity on whether World Network's privacy enhancing technologies, PETs, I don't even like that name, meet the legal definition for, and I'm not going to say this, for anonymous in the EU. Anonymization in the EU. Strengthening rights of World ID users, blah, blah, blah. This is World ID. If you remember, they scan your iris data. That's funny. I just landed on this. I was scrolling because I knew it was going to be in there. All users who have provided Worldcoin with their iris data will in the future have their unrestricted opportunity to enforce their right to erasure. That is in the future, but not right now. They're going to keep it right now for you. They're going to keep it safe for you. Listen, here's the deal. Biometric data, while it sounds good, I honestly would only really want it or trust it in the government's hands. And the reason why is because we're hoping the government won't try to sell it and make money off it, right? As a private company, you're going to sell it and make money off it. Like, you're going to. That will always be a last ditch effort. For every company out there, for every business out there, last ditch efforts are data. Like, all right, fine, let's get rid of this email list, let's get rid of this data. So I highly doubt you're going to collect hundreds of thousands or thousands of irises. I mean, that's great information to have, especially as these governments develop more cameras and face reading, facial recognition technology, and all this other stuff. What you can say, hey, I can give you 30,000 citizens of your country right now in this part of town for a measly $1.3 million. Like, what? People are taking that bet. So I'm with the government here. I don't know about this Worldcoin. I want them to delete the data, but I highly doubt they're going to, like, people. They're not going to delete the gold mine. They're going to delete it publicly, but privately they're going to have that backup waiting in the wind. All right. Last but not least, We are at the top, folks. We are at a local top. It looks like I am very scared. When you see articles like this, I get scared. I'm like, the market, it might start to doing a little dippity dap in it. Fart coin briefly taps $1 billion market cap despite altcoin bloodbath. That's right. Some don't smell good in here. Solana-based meme coin Fartcoin briefly exceeded a $1 billion market cap amid a downturn in the altcoin market. How in the F is this possible? Is this like three people who put all their money into it? Like I just have so many questions. $1 billion on farts. All right, let's get into it. Man, some weird people out here. Solana-based meme coin Fartcoin gained 113% over the past 30 days to briefly surpass a market cap of $1 billion on December 18, despite most of the altcoin market suffering a double-digit slump on the day. Fartcoin, a meme coin without any utility, you don't say, stood out as the broader crypto market faltered after the United States Federal Reserve announced a 25 basis point rate cut, along with signals that 2025 may see fewer cuts than expected. Oh, is that what's going on right now? Oh, the Feds. That's why the price down. Between 8:20 p.m. and 9 p.m. UTC on December 18, Fartcoin's price was an outlier in the altcoin market, sparking about 21 cents to $1.02, pushing its market cap to $1.02 billion, according to CoinMarketCap. The rally didn't last long. Hour after surpassing $1 billion, Fartcoin retraced by 16%. It was trading at a price of 83 cents with a market cap of 838.4 million at the time of publication. This is absolutely insane. I mean, that's the story. I don't. They say investors are fleeing to safety in Fartcoin. I don't. Hey, listen. This is why ain't nobody taking America serious. If we didn't have these weapons of mass destruction, we would be in some trouble ourselves. If we didn't have the Pacific, the Atlantic, and WMDs, we would be in trouble. Funny, real quick story. Like, I always joke because pilots in the military, at least Navy pilots, is like dudes is dropping bombs on foreign countries and stuff, and their nicknames is farts. I'm not making this up. It's like, you can't make this up. So I don't know. This is crazy to me. But Fartcoin's a real deal thing. To me, that signals we're at a local top and we may need to start being careful. It's going down. It's going down. All right, last few comments for our call today. King, you need to go ahead and create that gang coin. So many people asked to create coins. Somebody just asked recently about creating some type of coin. Mempools drive the narratives and pools money for VCs on various chains. Fart is up because they have no gas fees. Do. I see what you did there, Jake. I love it. Let's see. In 2021, I paid $150 in gas fees to buy $150 of a coin on Uniswap and woke up 7 hours later. It was up $1,300. Did that several times. Fees are ridiculous, but in that phase, it paid off. No, I agree with you. And I'm definitely one of those people as well to where like you all seen some of my test wallets and stuff. Like, yes, I spent thousands of dollars on Ethereum fees, to be real. I've spent thousands of dollars on Ethereum fees. And I will say it does make sense when you're doing bigger plays like that, right? Like if you have a big play or something came in that really made sense, 150 to 1,300, or you start with a few thousand and it goes, to five figures, or you start with five figures and it goes six and so on, right? If you have a play that makes sense, then yes, the gas fee does make sense. I remember I paid like $300 one time on some gas fees, but for the transaction and as quickly as I needed, it made sense. So I get that, but it's still like you shouldn't have to do it, because on the flip side, you tell me we can't do small transactions? I think Black Bitcoin Key said paying $150 to move $50, so worth it. Like, yeah, I had a same thing just recently. I had a transaction where I was just trying to move like $40, but it was something on an Ethereum network from one of those like little airdrop or whatever wallets. I'm just trying to move it. And it costs it costs like I think $33 to move it, to like $27 to $33. I'm like, $33 to move 40 something dollars. So I'm going to come out of this with 10 something dollars. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. So they do have to work on that scaling. I hope they do. We shall see what happens next. Other than that, that is the show for today. Hey, shout out to BK Crypto. I didn't cover it today, but I did see a story about DPen hit the news, and BK Crypto is the first person to tell me about the DPen. We actually just talking about it the other day on the chat, but he talking about DPen months ago before it pumped, and it looks like it's about to make his news round. So shout out to you, BK Crypto. Let's see what happens with DPen. And to be fair, Warriors, I told him he should have came on live and talked about it. So we'll see. Smash that like and share. I will see you all tomorrow. Feel free to call in, turn up. Shout out to Bitcoin Chris. I believe tomorrow I'll be on his show also around 12 p.m. PST, 1 p.m. I don't know. We got to figure it out, but let me know. Smash that like and share. I'll see you all tomorrow. Check out the Discord.